Good morning. We are hiking the opposite side of Coldwater Lake. Last week we were up on the ridge, and today we're going to be hiking down along the lake. And the first, I believe, 6/10 of a mile of this trail is all ADA accessible. So we'll be hiking on concrete and pavement. Informational signs here. And this lake was created during the Mount St. Helens blast. It blocked up Coldwater Creek. Last week we were hiking up on the top of that ridge over there. And I think at that back ridge there is where we stopped. So today we're going to go clear back to the back and hopefully maybe up the hill a little bit there. Canadian geese with their little babies. Those babies look a little bit bigger in the second batch. That noise you hear is someone in the parking lot, a Forest Service employee that is weed eating. It's definitely cold out here today. It gets about 45 degrees. And when we were up hiking that ridge over there, it started out in the 50s in the morning, but got up into the mid 70s. But today's only supposed to be in the low 50s, which is fine because we got a little sunburnt the last time. Yeah, fish just jumped out there. Canadian geese are cruising across the lake. And that little island out there is called Kim Island. I'll have to look the story up on that, find out who it's named after. Still walking along the lake here, and it's kind of nice. They have little benches in different spots. We're not used to walking on trails that have touristy things. But we'll be in the trees for a while, and then kind of back out of them. Lots of clover out here. I've seen a trillium and a couple of Indian paintbrush flowers. Pretty early in the season. And when I get a chance, it's fogged in right now, but the hills that had some snow on it, the foothills from last week, had a little bit of snow, but now they have quite a bit more. Looks like they got a nice little dusting. So somewhere up here, we should have an elk meadow trail that we're probably going to make a little side trip on, just to see what's up there, which I'm assuming is elk. Oh, here's a really nice expansive view here. A lot of this trail, you're walking on a little ridge up above the river. You're not at, or the lake. To me, the lake looks a lot bigger than I thought it would. And there are those hills last week that have more snow, quite a bit more, because I think the snow level came down to about 3,000 feet or so. Kind of cool to see where we were walking last week up there. Actually, that hill is a lot higher up than I thought it was, too, when I was walking it. Here's something you rarely see on a trail. About a mile or so in is pit toilets, or composting toilets. And that little green thing up there is a bat house. And I could hear the bats moving around in it, and you could see the bat guana down at the bottom. So that's pretty cool, which actually made me think they have problems with people vandalizing toilets at the trailheads. So maybe they should just start putting them about a mile up here, because most of the people that are going to go a mile are not the sort of people that would tear up a bathroom. Okay. Grab my poles here. We're going to head on up the trail after our pit stop at the pit toilet. We've seen a couple of anthills like this that have been all torn apart. So, and we've seen some bear scat just from last year. So, guessing the
shit stop at the pit toilet.
What?
Did you say shit stop at the pit toilet?
Pit stop at the pit toilet. But let's really call it what it was. You know what it is. Seen some guys going by in a boat fishing. They do allow boats on this lake. They have to have electric motors only. So we have some lupin here, or lupine. I think it's lupin is how it's pronounced. We're starting to see some more Indian paintbrush along the way. And we can hear a waterfall really close by. So I believe that is probably, well, that was probably the tall point that we were hiking last week. Was it down? Yeah, it was actually down here a little bit further. I think where you can see those snow patches is where, somewhere up there where we turned around. Some beautiful Indian paintbrush here blooming. And this lupin's just starting to bloom. Got some more over here. So I'm super excited to see this waterfall. I don't know if this is the real big waterfall that we get to cross. Kind of sounds like it, and we'll find out soon. So this is not the real big waterfall. This is just a smaller one. And it has a little bridge to walk over it. It's a bleeding heart. Doesn't get much prettier than that. So I think that I would call this a bona fide creek crossing, which I'm going to try to video as I go across. Wish me luck. So the part looks a little easier. Some dry land to walk on. The waterfall back here. Still not the big waterfall that we should be coming up. But a cool little one. Got another little creek crossing here. And this, folks, is why we wear waterproof shoes. Even in the summertime, I wear my waterproof shoes. Just because in the morning the grass can be damp. And another little crossing, but we got some logs here. These feel a little slippery, so I'm going to turn the camera off. Use my hiking poles. Another fun creek crossing in the middle of the trail. I think I need to put this away. Nice little alder patch that we're walking through here. So far it's been a pretty easy trail. A few water crossings and a few little spots where it gets narrow, where parts of it have kind of fallen off that make me a little nervous going across. But other than that, it's actually been pretty good. Coming out to a little point here. More view of the lake. We're definitely getting closer to the end of the lake. We're gonna at least make it up to the bridge up there where North Coldwater Creek comes in. If we have time, I'm not sure if we will before the rain sets in. We might go up this hill a little bit and see what the trail looks like. It's supposed to be pretty brushy up there. And up around that point is where we stopped the last time. I'm kind of glad we did because we didn't quite make it to those snow fields. And I have a feeling that would have been super sketchy to try to go across with the snow. Wind's kind of picking up here. And back there's where we came from. Another little small creek crossing down here. We've had a whole bunch of really little ones. But we should be getting pretty close to the end of the creek. Or the end of the lake, I mean. And sometimes there's creeks going down the middle of the trail. Just get around the best you can. Slid on me. Looks like it's just about done though. Okay, and the trail is dry again. Woohoo! Another little creek crossing here. Pretty little one. So just when you think you're about at the end of the lake, nope, there's still a little bit more to go. But it's been a nice day to hike. Just a little bit of light mist and nice cool weather. I actually put my jacket back on at the end of when we were stopped for a little break. It got kind of windy and cold, but now it's getting warm again. Just kind of sheltered back here, I think, a little more. So we had seen a YouTube video of somebody a few years ago, somewhere down here. There was a beaver dam. I don't know if it was in this area that we just went back through here. There was a big slide that came down, brought all this rock and debris, and so I'm not sure where it was at. We'll see if we can find it. So these are vanilla leaf, and they are my absolute favorite plants in the forest. They usually grow in complete shade under big old growth, second growth trees. But here they're actually kind of in an alder cottonwood patch at the end of the lake. We've seen some underneath a cottonwood up in the Elk Ridge field earlier today too. But see, these, I'm not going to walk through them here, but out in the forest, these are just really fun and easy to walk through. And they kind of pop right back up. Okay, we've had several small creek crossings again. And we are almost at the end of the lake. Almost. And there should be a pretty good sized bridge across North Coldwater Lake. I'm thinking that the creek comes out somewhere over there that feeds into this lake. I think back there should be Mount Margaret, somewhere back there. And this is, I think, a mini mountain. We've seen 3 elk up on this one and 5 elk earlier. So we've seen 8 elk today, but they were so far away we couldn't get them on the camera. Made it almost up to the end here, and there's a nice little beaver lodge right out there in the middle of the water. We're in this cool alder patch. And we just seen 2 or 3 more elk. 2 more elk, yeah. That were, again, way up on these big hills that... And I just got a tick removed from my neck. I set my pack down a little while ago and on the ground I should not have, and I should have paid closer attention. Checked it for ticks before I put it back on. Obviously I had one, or either that or I got one dropped off of a branch or something we went next to. But it had just barely started to bite, so it's all good. I don't know, 9 millionth creek crossing. We can get a little better look up here on the back hill from the trail of the Beaver Dam out there.
Lodge.
Beaver Lodge. What's the difference?
We live in those.
Oh.
The dam up the creek.
Ah, okay.
Couple bunks around there too.
Yeah, the lake, end of the lake's out there. Creek crossing number 10 million? I don't know. Getting tired of creek crossings. I'm just doing the bigger ones now. Duck a little bit under that one.
A little bit, huh?
Did you make it? I just lowered my head a little. You had to crawl under. I see a sign. I hear a waterfall or thundering creek. Woohoo! Bridge here and get a little bit better picture of this. Well, we found a flat spot in the trail, so we're sitting here having lunch.
Semi-flat.
Semi-flat. Enough to where we're not going to go tumbling into the creek. But, yeah, just don't get much more beautiful lunch spots. So Mount Margaret's back somewhere that way, probably back over that hill. I don't know if that's part of Harry's Ridge
I believe it was over this ridge.
Yeah, but it kind of went a little bit longer, so I'm not sure. I think that's Blast Zone Butte. At least it sort of looks that way on my map. And Mount Margaret is probably, I know we're near the Mount Margaret Wilderness, so it's probably back that way. And Mini Mountain is behind us. Just thought I would show you one of the trails here, a little elk trail coming down the hill. Right across our trail and headed right down to the creek to get a drink of water. So what's our elk count now? 8?
10.
10, yeah, because we've seen those other 2. Thank you. Trail etiquette. As long as he doesn't let go and it hits me behind. Oh, I just heard a branch crack up here. Don't see anything though. I was really hoping we would see a herd of elk down here, but everything we've seen today so far has been pretty far up on the hills. But a lot of sign of elk, especially the last half of this trail, or half or 2/3. Wonder where the little ones are. That's probably the 4 that we seen earlier. Bye.